Happy Monday to the NGS family. Welcome back to a Storm Division playoff match between Heavy Impact and Anti-Clown Association. For this evening, I will be your caster, Creeper's Ball, and as always, my trusty co-caster and analyst of the evening. Welcome, Malios, to the analyst desk. How are you feeling this evening?
Pretty good myself. Looking forward to this Storm League game.
Yeah, for sure. So this is going to be fighting for third place right now. The loser of this best of five will go towards the finishing fourth place of the season. A very noticeable placement, honestly, out of 8 teams. Fourth is nothing to be shabby about. But remember that only top 3 teams in this Storm division will receive part of the prize pool. Third place receiving 15%, so whoever wins tonight will guarantee a little bit of payouts. 15% may not be a lot, but of course you can always be fighting for the top prize of 50% of the prize pool, ladies and gentlemen. That is what we'll be fighting for this evening. Now, we still have a couple minutes before the game is scheduled to start, but we shall take a look at some of the information between these two teams. As I've always mentioned on my own cast, scouting is very important. So the casters for this evening, me and Malios, have decided that we're going to pool a little bit of our time and do some research for you guys to know what is really about to go down. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to direct your attention to the infographics page I have lit up. This is all the information, relatively basic information you need to know about these two teams. Now, the last time that these two teams had duked it out, it was all the way back in August. So that's about 2 months ago when they had their best of 5 series in the regular season. And as you have noticed from my infographs, it was a 3-0 win from Heavy Impact. But let's slowly dissect this and kind of see what actually does that 3-0 mean, how they've been doing in the playoffs, and how they can affect it into this tonight's match. Let's take a look at the bans for last time's regular season match. The last time these two teams dueled, Heavy Impact had banned Alterac Pass and Dragonshire, and Anti-Clown Association had banned Sky Temple and Garden Terror. So, Malice, what kind of bans synergy have you seen between these two bans? As always, Heavy Impact banning Alterac and Dragon, and Anti-Clown banning Sky Temple and Garden.
Sky Temple and Garden. Well, first of all, when it comes to Sky Temple and Garden of Terror, they are both heavy-centric, like macro-centric maps, which require heroes that have really strong rotational prowess. Heroes like Malphael with like the horse talent level 1 that gives him that extra 20% movement speed when he's on a mount, or just globals in general. We're talking Falstead, Dahaka, Brightwing. These are just heroes that dominate during this matchup, because in Garden Terror and in Sky Temple, these maps rely heavily on keeping your buildings alive, as well as keeping the objective in check in order to not lose the game from macro.
It's indeed. Sky Temple and Garden Terror play more of an unconventional style of play when you kind of want to focus, not more so team fights, but rather map pressure, map macro, getting those siege camps and bruiser camps pushing, doing a lot of damage to turrets. That's the name of the game, but you see that Anti-Clown are not a fan of those play style, but has decided to ban those for, like I said, the regular season match between these two teams. Heavy Impact decided to ban Alterac and Dragonshire. You see a synergy, whereas Alterac and Dragonshire are objectives that are not very focused. Right? These two objectives really take a long time to be taken, especially Dragonshire. We can see perhaps the first dragon not even be taken at level 13s. This is not a very easy objective to take unless you have a very dominant team fight or very dominant macro play that gives you that advantage. Similar to Alterac Pass, it's very difficult to cap the objective, so a lot of teams will just go for soaking, perhaps top and bottom, constantly getting the siege camp ups and just playing until one team makes a mistake or they notice a little slip up in their rotation. So you notice that from these bans in the regular season, Heavy Impact do not like irrelevant objectives, and Anti-Clown do not like to play this very macro-heavy game. So let's take a look at what games actually occurred during the regular season. As I've mentioned, 3-0 for Heavy Impact in the regular season. But you notice here in the infographics, all of these games really took a while, right? 23 minutes, 25 minutes, and 22 minutes. These are not very short games. These ones took a long time. You notice the team levels on both teams were 23, 24, 22. This is a long out drought battle. And this is what ends up winning for every time Heavy Impact was able to slightly take the win in terms of the endurance test. And we might see that play later tonight. But as always, you also want to look at the takedowns as well. You notice, except for the game on 2 Minute Spider Queen, game number 2, the takedowns were very close, right? These teams really had it very close when it comes to team fights, but Heavy Impact always having a slight advantage. So these are what you can see. Even though it is a 3-0, it wasn't a very dominant 3-0. There are games 1 and 3 which were very close on Cursed Hollow and Towers of Doom. 2 Minute Spider Queen was a bit of a blowout. It was 24 takedowns to 9, so it was a blowout on that map. But the majority of the games were indeed very close. And finally, I'm going to direct you to the bracket for the playoffs. As you've noticed, Anti-Clown Association and Heavy Impact have both lost in the first round on the winner's side, 3-2. 3-2 is a indeed very, very close scoreline. You really cannot get any closer than that. So both teams are really feeling, a little bit retributed, right? They really want to get back into the winners and get their run back, perhaps with the teams that actually threw them into the losers bracket. And you notice they're in the lower bracket run. Both teams very, very successful in their first losers bracket match. Heavy Impact 3-0 and Anti-Clown with a 3-1 win. And now we are playing them tonight. So now you guys have all caught up on what was happening in the last time these two plays. Let's take a look at the map picks and bans. Are they going to be the same, ladies and gentlemen? We will show you right now what has happened. So Heavy Impact has won the coin toss and instead it has gone for the first pick option. Anti-Clown has once again banned Sky Temple and this time banning Volskaya, while on the other side Dragon Shower and Alterac, the very typical bans. So the only map ban difference that we see here is that Anti-Clown did not opt to ban Garden of Terror, rather decided to want to get Volskaya out of the way instead.
Yep. That's a pretty good point you've mentioned, Creep, because despite having a difference in the map bans this time around, there is still a pattern to be seen here. Both Sky Temple and Volskaya are maps that you need to be standing in a specific spot in order to activate the objective. And typically these objectives are like hot spots for team fights to occur throughout the game. Because in both Sky Temple and Volskaya, with the exception being the boss in Sky Temple, most of the team fights do happen within these close quarters on the objective.
Yeah, speaking of close quarters, I'm very noticing the Anti-Clown Association map pick is on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Now, as we have just mentioned a moment ago, last time these two teams played, the only game where Heavy Impact just demolished Anti-Clown was on Tomb of the Spider Queen. And this is very interesting that they want to actually have this run back on the map they suffered the greatest loss on. So I'm really assuming that Anti-Clown has another trick up their sleeve. Maybe they have a plan, they have a new strategy to take on number 2 seed of this evening. But what are your thoughts? Do you think they might have a chance this time on Tomb of the Spider Queen? Do you think they might have a plan ready?
Well, looking at this Tomb of the Spider Queen game back in August, you could see Anti-Clown Association running a hyper early game comp. We have heroes like Kerrigan and Junkrat. These are heroes that don't necessarily scale very well into the late game, especially when you compare to the likes of Vala, Blaze, Anduin. When you look at Anti-Clown Association's draft compared to Heavy Impact's, you could see the difference in terms of where they're hoping to put the greatest emphasis of their draft on. So from what I've seen, it seems like this draft wasn't able to give them enough snowball potential in the early game, which is probably why they lost later on into the game. So if they were to run something differently, they have many different opportunities, and basically there are many different types of team comps which they could run in order to basically win on this map instead. So I believe they do definitely have a chance, considering how hyper aggressive and cocky their comp was previously.
Yes. So very, very good analysis here from Malios. And we're just ready to get into this game. Both teams are accounted for in the lobby. We're just waiting for both teams to confirm that they are ready to get into game number 1, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're excited as we are. Both Malios and I are excited. Hopefully we'll see a game 5 scenario, as always, is one of our favorite things as a caster to watch and to cast for you, ladies and gentlemen. But we are just getting really soon underway, ladies and gentlemen. As always, exclamation mark Match Reno if you want to donate to the cash pool for all the people in the NGS Storm Division. You don't need to do anything. All you gotta do is exclamation mark Match Reno. Click on the link. You don't have to even pay or do anything. All you gotta do is click on that link. You get 50 cents towards the pool. 50 cents is a lot if everybody does it, so make sure you guys do it. Remember, it's exclamation mark Match Reno. Now we're about to get ready into game number 1. Both teams are just finally confirming their final members. You know, they want to make sure everybody's very ready, very ready. You know, they had their bathroom breaks, they had their water breaks. Like everyone's feeling refreshed. They're not tired. Well, hopefully not tired.
For sure, because there's a lot on the line. 15% of the prize pool. Like just to be able to get money from the prize pool is already significant.
Yeah, it'll be very, very tough for whoever actually loses this evening. As always, you'll be missing out on a little bit of the incentive for joining Storm Division. But it is what it is. Sometimes you win your games, sometimes you lose your games. That is the point of competition, and that is the point of life, ladies and gentlemen. And we are finally ready to get into the draft. Game number 1, Tomb Raider Spider Queen between Heavy Impact and Anti-Clown Association. Now, as always, the first pick is on the side of Heavy Impact. So, Malix, what kind of bands do you think you'll be seeing here on the map, such as this very small Tomb of the Spider Queen?
Well, for one, I believe that they banned Nazebo back in August, but seeing how he is not as dominant nowadays, we might be seeing more tank bans, such as a Nubrak. But it's pretty hard to say, given how early in the draft it is. And they still do have the potential to ban healers, though there was only one healer ban in all 3 games that we've analyzed back in August, so it might be unlikely.
Yeah, I mean, Nazebo has had its ups and downs throughout the Storm Division season. We might see it picked up or banned, especially Nazebo isn't very bad on Tomb Raider Spider Queen. You have 3 waves that can quickly rotate and get your stacks up to a very sufficient level. But instead, we're going to see some tank chokes here, some Manubrak being banned, and the Stitches is being banned on the other side, followed by Lenara banned by the side of Heavy Impact.
All very standard picks so far. Like I've mentioned earlier, Nubrak just a very strong hero, being able to cocoon your opponent, forcing a 5v4 situation right off the bat. Stitcher is just really good in smaller maps, being able to, even with Gorge, being able to isolate his opponents, and also forcing an unfavorable team fight for the opposing team. Lenara has been seen a lot more play recently, given her recent buffs to her level 7 talent, enabling her to do real burst damage on that talent tier.
Yeah, so Lenara definitely is very strong in the sense that her damage is very powerful, but it's also very fast. So it's a very tricky hero to deal with, especially with her range and the way that she has her mounts up. So they don't want to see that in the game. Stukov, also a very strong healer, you know, so very typical band there. And we see the Junkrat locked in here. Very good objective control, very good point control, very good zoning control. Hero picked up by Infrared. And this will be quickly countered by the Tychus and the Johan.
Yep, for sure. Let's go back to the Junkrat pick. He's just so annoying, especially on a map where you have to channel to turn in gems. Junkrat could stall for a very long time with his Qs, with his traps. He's just a big nuisance when it comes to positioning and being able to turn in for the objective. As for the Johanna and Tychus picks, both very strong in this map. The Johanna condemn into the Tychus grenade, very strong wave clear, and just has a lot of lockdown potential as well.
Well, we're going to see Mason Blaze pick up, you know, the Blaze. And then Weary Day on the Brightwing here. Once again, very typical picks here. The Brightwing being probably one of the best healers in the game, with options to her global teleport, but also just good AoE healing, good CC. A lot of things that Brightwing does. It's just very, very powerful. And we're going to see the Blaze locked in here. We're not too sure yet whether it will be the main tank Blaze. It might be an offlane tank. It might be a DPS Blaze. We don't know.
Most likely, since it is Tomb of the Spider Queen, we'll most likely be seeing a solo lane Blaze, because he doesn't have to double soak on this map. His 4-man will do it for him, most likely.
Yeah, I mean, and I think Anti-Clown Association has the same prediction as well, going ahead and banning the Mei, so they definitely think that another main tank is going to be picked up. And as you mentioned here, Dahaka being very strong on this map, so they're going to get rid of Dahaka as well. So the only global hero that's really left to be picked here is Falstad, so we'll see if the tide of Anti-Clown Association have decided to go with the pick. We're going to see the Anduin locked in here, and the final pick here for this phase is going to be the Rexar.
If we're going to see a Falstad pick, it'll most likely be on the side of Heavy Impact, I believe, because otherwise the damage potential on the side, as decent as it is so far for Anti-Clown, they just want to have more lockdown potential.
Yeah.
So most likely we won't see any more globals from the side of Anti-Clown. Wildheart.
Yeah, so we're gonna see the Hanzo locked in here, and it followed by the Muradin. So it is indeed the off lane Blaze. Muradin is one of the best tanks out there in very high level play due to his high level sustain. You know, very good initiation options, a lot of CC, and good displacement if he chooses to go for a Haymaker. Just extra health would always be good. And Hanzo just shooting those arrows left and right is gonna be a very big nuisance. And we're gonna see the three frontline comp picked here with the Hogger final pick. Now, Anti-Clown Association is gonna go for this this three frontline comp we see a lot in Storm Division. So, what are your thoughts? Do you think this will work with the Tychus hyper carry in this sense for Anti-Clown Association?
I like it simply because there simply isn't enough burn on the side of heavy impact to be able to burn through that front line. Like you have Hanzo, you have Junkrat, but neither screams tank buster per se. And keep in mind that even though it's like a free man frontline, keep in mind that there is a Misha as well, so there is a lot of fat bodies to like burn through in order to reach that Tychus and doing backline.
Yeah, so of course you definitely have favorite Anti-Clown's draft, and I will have to agree there. Their comp seems to be a lot more fluid. It has an identity, it has a game plan, it's very evident, but it's also very, very powerful. So if they were to execute it very well, we're going to see Heavy Impact struggling a lot in these team fights and a lot of these lockdown situations. But it's a bit too early to tell yet. You know, Heavy Impact's draft isn't very bad as well. Do you think maybe there's one thing that was wrong with it or maybe one thing that could have been better just from the sake of an analysis point of view?
Like right off the bat, I'll just say that there's nothing wrong with their draft per se. It's just like these heroes they've picked. I feel like they could have picked better heroes. You know what I'm trying to say? The one that stands out the most to me is Muradin. Like I can understand why they chose Muradin to be able to jump into their back line and dish out like some like crowd control, but Blaze can't do that. If he tries to stun, it'll be through punching through the front line. So Muradin kind of has his own identity, while his team has their own as well. But we'll see how it goes.
And we shall see how it goes indeed, ladies and gentlemen. On the left side, we have Heavy Impact. We have Mason plays on the Junkrat, Zergling on the Blaze, I think, Tremor on the Muradin, Infrared playing the Hanzo, and Weary Day on the Brightwing.
And on the right, we have Anti-Clown Association. We have Kaiser on the Hogger. We have Caesar Salad on the Johanna. Got Filth on the Tychus. Valamir on the Anduin, and Dude on the Rexar.
Yeah, so we're going to see how they're going to do their rotation. I am going to assume this is a Hogger off lane, and you want Misha with the 4-man. Having that additional easy stun is always going to be good. But we shall see what's going to happen here as Hogger's going to do his spinning round. Just going to get the mid-wave cleared from both teams. We're going to see Zerling kind of start something here, followed by a good polymorph and a good stun. You already see so much CC here. Even though the Iron Skin is popped, that's half health gone on Caesar Salad, and both teams are going to start their rotations. Dude buys at a actually very low 300 HP, taking a lot of damage from Infrared here on the bottom side. And we're going to see the rotations finally come in. Junkrat's going to head to the top, while the other members of Heavy Impact are heading towards the bot lane. And similarly, it'll be seen on Anti-Clown Association. But for now, we'll take a look at the talents picked here from both teams. And speaking of talents, we might not have a chance. We're going to see a big engage here on Got Filled. You know, the dash away on the Tychus. Yeah, I mean, it's a good try. Like Godfield really just gets healed up really quickly by Valamar here. So it was a good attempt. We kind of see hopefully in the later stages of the game the combo really perfect seen here by Heavy Impact. And now we're gonna focus here is on the bottom siege camp. Trevor is the one that's actually getting focused down here. The re-engage here from Zergling and the teleport from Ruined Day is going to mean that a fight is about to break out for this bottom siege camp. It looks like the side of Anti-Clown decided to opt out of this situation. Misha taking a heavily sustainable damage here. And yeah, Heavy Impact is indeed going to take over the siege camp. Anti-Clown does not want to fight for that situation.
Yep, as tanky as Anti-Clown's draft is, we gotta keep in mind that they do only have one DPS, that being Tychus. So if Tychus is out of the fight or is unable to dish out damage, their damage is quite lacking. So we have to keep that in mind going forward.
Yeah, so both teams are going to be approaching the level 4 mark, and we're going to see Hogger starting on this Bruiser cap. I hope similarly we'll see the same thing being done on the side of Heavy Impact. Getting this Bruiser camp up in the middle lane is indeed very powerful, and yeah, we see Junkrat and Blaze heading over here to their side, which means that we can take a look at talents finally, Malleus. So now we also can take a look at the level 4 situation, so give us your thoughts, Malleus.
Well, right off the bat, Johanna opted to go for double blind, which I think is a pretty interesting. Oh, hold that thought.
Oh, Weary Day almost getting caught out here by the Misha stun and the Condemn, but he's going to be able to use the Soft Cleanse to get out there. He's going to burn a big cooldown on the trait, but that shouldn't be too much of an issue. And that, ladies and gentlemen, we're back to the analysis because nothing else is going to happen.
Oh, anyways, there's a double blind coming out. Whoa.
And it's also there's also a pause, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have to find out
what is happening.
We're going to find out what the situation is. Probably is going to be a bit of ping issues, a bit of lag from one of the members on the team. And it looks like both teams are ready to get back into the action, so we're going to head back into the game. I don't know, the pause was just out of nowhere,
that was
really.
very sudden. I guess it was probably lag.
Probably is lag, so we're going to get back right here in the action. Both teams having their spell armor up, with the first side of Anti-Clone losing their spell armor. Heavy Impact still has that minion, the Bruiser Cap with the spell armor buff, so they're going to be able to push that and do a little bit of chip damage to the front gate, and we're going to see another pause. We're not too sure. They have not informed the casters of anything. It probably is going to be like this situation. Hopefully this gets resolved. Yeah, so we've got Filth on the side, I believe, of... Godfield is on the side. It's coming... Oh, now we're back into the game. Okay, well, this is very, very sudden. Man, okay.
Okay, well... Let's go back into analysis, because nothing's going to happen, I think, until a team fight occurs. I was just talking about how Johanna went for double blind despite not having a full-blown auto-attack hero on the other side.
Yeah, very interesting pick,
Johanna
right? So,
being cut out, Iron Skin popped.
Iron Skin is indeed popped, and Zergling is going to jump onto Gottfield. As always, Gottfield on the solo carry Tychus is going to be a lot of targeted on his back. You know, you want a lot of engages onto this Tychus, maybe chain seizing him to death. So all you have left on Anti-Con will be the front lines, and just a little Anduin, you know, not a lot of damage can be seen if they take out the Tychus. And you can see Zergling is trying his very best, and so is Tremor, looking for a good jump here if they can get it to it. Tremor trying to cut off rotations here, is going to get the stun onto Gottfield, who's going to take the hammer to the head, but walk away without too much damage. And once again, Zergling jumps onto Gottfield. Let's see if he's going to be dishing out a lot of damage. There's not enough damage follow-up on the side of Heavy Impact. It's going to force a teleport from Weary Day, but a good stun from Misha. The soft cleanse is not enough, and first, ladies and gentlemen, goes to the side of Anti-Clown Association.
That's exactly what Anti-Clown needed. Tychus actually went for Master Assassin at level 4, meaning that every takedown gives him that bonus attack speed. Since he took that talent, he'll most likely go Odin at level 10, because that's the typical Odin build you see from the Tychus player.
Yeah, so Tremor is going to jump in, try to get the Storm Hammer. It's going to miss onto Gottfield. There is not enough follow-up anyways. I don't think that even if Tremor landed that stun, there was going to be sufficient enough damage and follow-up. I mean, he's just trying to get his stacks up for his base quest, so that's very understandable. And we see here in the top lane...
He doesn't have the base quest. He went for Dwarf Block at level 1.
So he did go for a Dwarf Block. He has Stormbolt, I meant.
Yeah, also, that talent level 1 no longer stacks whenever you hit it with your Q. It's now an auto-attack stacking quest.
Oh, interesting. You see, Caster has not played this game in years, so excuse my incompetence. And we're going to see the side of Anti-Clown picking up the first objective. A lot of damage here onto the Johanna. It's going to force out the Leap of Faith. That's a lot of damage coming out just from Brightwing, Junkrat, and the Muradin. That armor reduction onto Johanna, it was indeed powerful enough to bring her to a kind of scary level, one would say.
Yeah, for sure. We do see critical miss coming from the Brightwing's level 7, which is the go-to talent ever since her healing nerfs at level back a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, you know, the talents aren't very, as you've mentioned, perhaps the only abnormally is, of course, the full blind Johanna. Like you said, there isn't really a very auto-attack centric hero. Trevor's taking a lot of damage. So be a bit careful here. He doesn't want to get hit by that objective. He's going to take so much damage, down to 500 HP. That's quite a bit. He's not going to use second wind to heal him back up. He's going to go back to the Hall of Heroes, regen it all the way back to a full health and mana bar. And the first objective on the side of Anti-Con really doesn't get too much. You know, it gets some chip damage in the top, some chip damage in the middle. Quite a bit of damage here in the bottom, but nothing too significant enough to get them a huge XP lead. And we're going to see both teams once again have another turn-in available. You know, Anti-Con with the second. And of course, Heavy Impact still hasn't gone there first yet. We will see if they're able to get a capture with this situation. Hogger is going to be spinning around onto the Bruiser Cap. So if there is going to be engaged on the turn-in objective, Hogger's going to be very delayed in that situation, and they know that, so they're going to say, okay, we're going to go ahead and take away the bottom siege camp, the second one of the game. Of course, have a heavy impact. Level 10s are picked up on both sides here, as we have seen here on the top of your screen. Of course, we're going to notice that Hortipole is indeed picked up here, one of the more classical Hogger talents here. And yeah, the turn-in is going to come in from heavy impact. Hogger was not there, not enough to provide any support. But with this objective turning in, it's going to be a little bit difficult to push past this middle Bruiser camp if they're not able to clear it. And there's a lot of jump here onto Got Built. Once again, it's going to force out the Leap of Faith. The charge from the Blaze is not going to stun. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The first objective from the side of heavy impact is going to spawn in all 3 lanes. Johanna taking a lot of damage here, but it's going to pop the Iron Skin, so he's going to be just fine. A lot of damage coming from the Scatter Arrow from Infrared. Wow, that's quite a bit of chip damage onto the front line.
Yeah, for sure. Seeing how it's a triple frontline comp, clearing this objective will actually be quite difficult. We do see the Odin being popped out, so hopefully this will actually speed up the process.
Yeah, Caesar Salad just got launched away from Mason Blaze. You know, not too much is going to be happening. There isn't a lot of siege potential coming from either team. So objective is going to be a little bit stale in the sense that they can't hard push as if they had a Greymane or if they had a Sylvanas. They're going to just get as much value as they can, you know, get the fountains, get the gates, you know, maybe do a little bit of damage to the middle fort. The bottom objective has already been cleaned out. Does actually quite a bit of damage onto the bottom gate. Johanna trying to look for something here. Once again, it's going to pop the Iron Skin. Another 40-second cooldown. You know, that's not a very long cooldown, but it's also nothing to be scoffing at either. 40 seconds is still quite a bit of time. You know, a lot of things can happen in 40 seconds. So both teams are having their second objective, you know, ready to turn in. You know, 86 gems on the side of Anti-Clown. They want to get the turn in as much as possible. Chairman's going to try to stall as much as he can. It's going to force the leap out of that. But Gottfilth was able to indeed turn in his gem, so that's a little bit of progress at least. You see Hogger and the Junkrat duking it out in the top lane, and the focus is here indeed going to be on the bottom lane. Dude buys us 42 gems. Blaze all by himself is going to go actually straight back in. He's going to the teleport from the Brightwing, which is going to get stunned actually here. The Johanna in no man's land, but it is a Johanna. Will Johanna be okay? That is the big question here. Looks like Johanna's just going to walk out, you know, very safely. No scandals or no, you know, scams coming out in that situation. You know, it would have been really strange if, like, Johanna actually dies in a situation, so at least we're glad to not see such a blunder like that. But that means with the position given to the side of heavy impact, they're going to get their second turn-in of this game.
Yeah. Something to even mind of is that both teams, the turn-ins weren't very impactful per se. All the forts are still up despite being almost 10 minutes into the game. And Odin was popped really early, meaning that Anti-Clown won't have the Odin for their defense. Yeah, which I thought was pretty interesting.
So it seems that the group of heavy impact is going to group here in the middle lane. The chain CCs once again onto the Johanna, but both the Leap of Faith and the Iron Skin is popped. So a little bit of miscommunication there. It's going to force 2 big cooldowns down, and we see the Dragon Strike here launched.
Oni tool?
Yeah, it looks like the middle objective is going to go down. We're going to see the Falling Sword used as a disengage tool. And yeah, we're going to get the first objective, first structure taken down this game by the side of heavy impact. Bot lane is cleared up once again. No sustainable damage there. The top stage, quite a bit of damage here, but it's not going to fall yet in the top lane. You know, there's going to be a lot of sieging of potential. And we're going to see the top 4 taken out as well. A lot of chain CC and a lot of stuns coming out. Good engage from Kelsier is going to force out the bunker and the avatar. Here comes a Riptire. He's going to be aiming for the back line here, but Johanna is all by herself in the middle of nowhere, and she's going to go down. The re-engage from Zergling landing onto 2 members here, but it's going to be only on the Hogger and the Titan, so not a lot of the things they can do there. But a very good team fight from the side of Heavy Impact was able to isolate Johanna, get her in a really bad spot, take down the main tank for the side of Anti-Clown Association.
Yeah, the advantage that Anti-Clown Association had in that team fight was that they were unable to reach the backline. Heavy Impact wasn't able to reach Tychus or Anduin. That being said, that leaves the front line vulnerable because of how separated Johanna was from the rest of her team.
Yeah, Johanna has been in a bit of odd spaces. I would say you noticed it here earlier in the bottom lane. She was kind of all by herself where her team was all in the middle lane. Kind of zoned away from her team, and therefore it has to give away the second objective for the side of Heavy Impact. But we're going to see their second objective kind of counteract this push from the boss in the top lane. You know, the top objective is going to be taken care of by the boss and respectively vice versa. And let's see if Anti-Clown is going to get a good push here, pushing it here in the middle lane. You know, they have a Bruiser camp, they have a middle Spider Queen here. They might get a lot of damage here on the middle lane. There is no gate, ladies and gentlemen. But here comes the flank from the side of Heavy Impact. Gonna force out the Leap of Faith onto Dude Abides here. And a lot of ultimates pop. Both the Riptire and the Dragon's Arrow are popped. So this is where you want to fight as Anti-Clown. You have all your heroics up. They have two very, very major heroics down for the fight. And here we go. The Polymorph is once again onto Johanna. It's going to force out the Iron Skin. The chase is on now. Tremor's going to look for something, but he's going to decide he'd rather go against it. He's going to clear up the top objective as well. Make sure there's no sustainable siege damage here, as we said before. Any siege damage that gets is very impactful. And a Light Bomb coming in actually misses the stun, and this is catastrophic should this have keep going on. Heavy Impact is looking in a really good spot. Once again, it's going to even force out the Falling Sword. So very, very poor engage. You know, there was a bit of a miscommunication, a bit of mistiming. Wasn't able to get the stun off with the Light Bomb, unfortunately, from Anti-Clown Associated. But I like what they're trying to plan here. It's very, very hard to dodge and engage like that. And here we go. Tremor is jumping in once again into the faces of Anti-Clown. The focus is onto Hogger, but with his Unstoppable Tornado, he is not going to get CC'd in this sense. Bunker is going to be dropped down, doing a lot of damage here. But it's just two frontline members taking a lot of damage. The Dragon's Arrow is going to get zoning control for the side of Heavy Impact. He's taking a lot of damage, but at the end of the day, no other member goes down. It is still 1-1 in takedowns. A very, very tight game.
I just want to mention earlier, when Hogger went in with his ult, with the Light Bomb, it did actually stun 2 members. But the critical miss, the sweeping miss from the Brightwing was able to soft cleanse them before anything went too hard bad.
So yeah, shout out to where he did it. I did not notice that, so thank you, Mally, for pointing that out. Indeed. Oh, now we're gonna engage onto Tremor, caught out in no man's land. Okay. His team is nowhere near.
Yeah, he's okay.
Is he gonna be okay? The Avatar is popped, but Zergly with this save, with a lot of CC stopping their progression onto Tremor, but he's gonna be the sacrificial lamb instead of Tremor. You gotta, thank your teammates for that sometimes. But now you're gonna lose a little bit of gems here. That means that you won't be able to have your third turn in this game, even though you got your middle bruiser pushing the middle lane. We're gonna see the third objective actually go in favor of Anti-Clown. So definitely a lot of better plays seen from Anti-Clown Association compared to the first time they played on Tomb of the Spider Queen. This is very, very close, and they actually are having a sustainable lead here. We'll take a look at the talents later on once this objective phase is over. We don't want to miss too much action. Both teams are looks like going to be paired up in the middle and top lanes. Heavy Impact is indeed positioned to this top lane. I mean, Hogger can't really get chain CC'd in a sense, so the attempt wasn't, quite there from Heavy Impact, but they got to try something at this point. Maybe get lucky with the pick. And here we go. The Odin is popped in the middle lane. It seems like the middle fort is indeed the target. And without a fountain, without a gate, this is sure to go down. And yeah, no, there's no stopping this middle fort from going down. Looks like Heavy Impact is indeed going to yield it to the side of Anti-Clown. Misha getting the stun onto Weary Day. They can be careful. Carefully just blinking heal out into a minion. Make sure that Weary Day is in a good spot. The top objective has been cleared. The middle one is still sieging here onto the middle keep gate. Riptire is fought, only going to hit one member, so that is a bit unfortunate in the sense that they do lose a very high cooldown heroic in that sense. It looks like Heavy Impact is going to be heading towards the bottom lane. More specifically, Zerglin is going to head down there, and the team of Anti-Clown is going to head towards his top 4. You notice it is a 4v5 situation, and they know that it's a 4v5 situation. Let's see if we can force this top 4 to go down. Tremor doing the best to be as much of a harassment as possible. And here we go, the Falling Sword Light Bomb combo, this time landing on the back line. So much damage coming out to Weary Day, a Mason Blaze. And we're going to see Unleash the Boars as well. It's going to slow and get rid of Weary Day. Mason Blaze is next to fall. Tremor and Zergly cannot do anything in the situation. They're in a very awkward spot, and they're going to have to forfeit this top 4. A very good engage from, this time, the Johanna and the Anduin.
Yep, that combo definitely took out the Junkrat and the Brightwing. Like, no matter how you cleanse that, you'll be stunned regardless. Because even if you cleanse the Fallen Sword, you'll still have a Condemn come right afterwards.
We're now approaching the level 20 in some alleys. We're going to take this downtime to kind of take a look at the towns. We really haven't examined it since the level 7 mark, so please give us your insight here, Malios.
Well, overall, it's quite standard from both sides. I will say that Johanna did go for Holy Renewal, the E-Town that also heals her percentage-wise, which synergizes well with her double charge of blinds. We also see Feigned Death coming out from that Rexar, meaning that he's a much safer whenever you see a Riptire or Murden jumping right into him. Because you do see that Blaze and Murden are both very engage-heavy tanks, So having Feign Death, the 5-second ice block, is just really nice to have.
And speaking of level 20s, we're going to see them picked up here by Anti-Clown, and we're going to see this top siege. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The boss is sieging onto the top keep now. Level 20s on the side of Anti-Clown. We're going to see the Riptire landing onto a good 4 members here, including Misha. But here we go. The engage is once again onto Weary Day. Is going to be able to blink heal out just in time. Zerka doing his best to peel his team off from the scary doom of Anti-Clown. But that means they are going to forfeit the top keep. And now the march is on towards the Nexus. It seems that nobody is going to be stopping Anti-Clown, but it will Heavy Impact be able to stop them. Here comes the ultimate from Hanzo, actually locking down the Hogger very surprisingly in the backline, way too deep. Johanna's way too deep as well. We're going to see the Anduin fall as well. And let's see if Duda Bites make it out. Gothfield should be okay, being mounted up. And yeah, Duda Bites, nowhere to go. You're going down as well. Valamar is just, getting burned alive, Let there be light, but let there be fire as well.
Actually, very good stall, actually, because they could have ended. I think they could still end, though.
It's very hard. All 3 keeps are still up, so they maybe can try to get a keep. We have 30-second death timers on the side of Anti-Clown. It is a 5v1 situation. They probably can get the keep, but the game is definitely not over in this sense. So we're going to have to wait. We're going to see the Turtle actually come in, so they're definitely going to get this top keep for sure. It is a 5v1 situation, so top keep is gone. And the question is, will the objectives be enough for Heavy Impact to end the game? This will be a very good comeback, a little bit aggressive on the end game push coming out. Tremor taking a lot of damage. He's really half-second when healing back up, as well as the Bright Wing.
That Tiny Grenade is getting so much value from Tychus. You see all that damage they're being taken?
Yeah. I mean, it is a Bright Wing, so a lot of AoE healing is going to come through. They're going to get chucked away by the grenade as well. Yeah. It seems like, Heavy Impact has decided against, going for the core. They say,
they should.
Anti-Clown almost went for the core, and it didn't really go well for them, so we're going to play the safe, focus onto this middle keep. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The middle objective is going to be start attacking the middle keep here. A lot of damage coming out onto Zerkly here. Here comes the Hanzo ulti, zoning away this team of Anti-Clown. They're going to have to back off, give some respect towards that heavy damage ult. And here we go. The Rexar ulti comes through. Let's see if they're able to get any value. No, not particularly any value. The middle keep stays alive, and I think they get a bottom 4. But at this point, with both teams have reached the level 20s, XP leads are kind of relevant in this sense.
Well, still getting that bottom 4 is nice to stop the pressure going onto your keep with the catapults. But yeah, overall, I'll also agree that having a fort this late into the game with an objective this late isn't the best value you get out of it.
So we're going to see the bottom one getting cleaned up here by Anti-Clown. Leap of Faith once again onto Johanna. You don't want to get picked off here.
Cool.
Hanzo! I don't know how to say Hanzo's signature phrase when he throws that ultimate. It's like Wakati ga Kuke or something like that. I have no clue what Hanzo says.
I heard good.
Alright, we're going to take a look at the level 20s here. Very standard. I actually do want to notice that it is a Cannonball Junkrat.
Yeah, I was about to say. Cannonball Junkrat, instead of opting for the reset Riptire talent at level 20, just more reliable damage. Just being able to zone and basically make it like dodgeball for Anti-Clown Association.
Yeah, I actually really don't like this pick whatsoever. I think, since you're playing a 3 frontline comp, getting a lot of hits with your Riptire is very, very easy, especially when you have a Misha, right? And speaking of Misha, here we go. The engage is onto Tychus here, but the Falling Sword is going to provide the unstoppable needed for Tychus to walk out relatively okay. Now the target is once again on the talent, instantly melted on the side of Anti-Clown. Now they're in a 4v5 situation, and the reverse situation is going to come through on Tremor, going to force the Avatar. Misha is the next target to be targeted here. The re-engage from Kelsier into the backline, but this could be a really doomed fight. Hanzo goes down in exchange for Misha, so they're able to get a little bit of something out of this fight, turn it around, even though they have lost their main tank. So it's a 1-for-1 right now, but it could be more. The second Leap of Faith is used here from Valamar, and now Kelsier's in a really awkward spot, kind of nowhere near the team. And the Chain CC is going to be enough to knock Kelsier back into the Heavy Impact's Loving Arms. And they're going to get another team fight win, 2.5-for-1. And all they're left standing against them at the end of the game is Tychus and Anduin. And Rexar, of course. But they said they want to go for the top boss. Now this is very, very bad. There is no keep on either side. So whoever gets this boss is guaranteed to get any damage onto the core. Most likely end the game. This is a 22-minute battle, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to see this objective really chunk away. Misha is...
Goodbye.
Oh!
Wow.
Okay, I think Heavy Impact thought Misha was dead and they backed off early. Now this is going to be very tight. It's a 4v4 situation here. Mason Blaze is going to cop the Rip Tire, and this, once again, the combos onto Weary Day. Going to have to blink heal out, but Muradin is going to fall without the Avatar, and the boss goes in favor of Anti-Clown. Oh, what a turnaround. Now it is actually Heavy Impact without the main tank. You know, Hogger is going to get up in about a couple of seconds here. But this is very, very, very dangerous for the side of Heavy Impact. Without their front line, there is almost nothing that really stops this boss. They're just going to try to force something, going to force this stun. A good value ultimate really from Hanzo. It's going to force the Feigned Death Rexar, so he's going to avoid the most of the damage from the ultimate. But Odin is indeed going to be popped here, and the 4-5 defense begins now. Zergly once again re-engaging, just recently tapped from the fountain, but the unstoppable falling sword from Caesar Salad makes sure that nobody is going to get CC'd to death by the blaze. And here we go. Caesar Salad taking a lot of damage from Hanzo, and it's going to get healed up barely by Valimar. And this, ladies and gentlemen, seems to be game number 1, going very much in favor of Anti-Clown Association. You know, now this is getting a lot of kills here. Infrared targeted. Junkrat has already gone down, but GG. Well played, and Anti-Clown takes game number 1.
Wow. Heavy Impact just got Uno reverse card.
Like, if that's not an Uno reverse, I don't know what is. That boss was very, very poor from Heavy Impact. I think they really overestimated how much damage, they underestimated how much damage they did to Misha, and they actually left Misha to live. That's very, very bad. You notice them near the end, they had backed off a little bit when they focused on Misha. They thought that, oh, Misha's definitely dead. Let's go back to the boss. But in fact, the Misha actually lives, and that spells trouble for Heavy Impact.
I thought the boss goal in itself was kind of odd, because Hanzo was still dead for the majority of that boss melt run. And so the only damage you really have is from Junkrat and like Sledgehammer Murd and LO4. Because Hanzo, like, even though he didn't take that low for W talent, he's still the best melting power against the boss that the team has. So I just found it really odd that they would start a boss despite knowing full well that the enemy team will try to contest. And they'll be nowhere near finishing the boss.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can take a look at the damage charts for this game. 125,000 from Junkrat. Also top siege damage and top XP, so kudos to Junkrat, you know, being in the off lane for the majority of the game, but still being the highest damage, you know. Infrared on the Hanzo, not too far behind, but just over 100k. And Tychus with the solo carry has pulled out a solid 95k, so nothing to be really fretting at as well. But as always, you're playing that triple frontline comp, so it's not going to be a lot of damage, but rather a lot of sustain.
I want to like quickly talk about Junkrat's level 20 Cannonball. Like, I know you don't really like it, but in my opinion, I didn't think it was too bad, given how every time Junkrat tried to Riptire, Johanna and Andum would just go for their Light Bomb Fallen Sword combo on him, and he would just end up dying. So I feel like if he were to get more value, Cannonball would have just been the safer pick at 20, given how every time he tried to Riptire later into the game, he would just end up dying.
Yeah, you definitely have a point, you know, but I do see a lot of the targets going on to Weary Day especially, and Hanzo if possible. Those were really the two main targets that was really getting harassed by the combo. And very good combos coming in. You know, I saw them try the Hogger Anduin combo, but not without too much success. So they actually transferred over to Johanna. So a very good mid-game adaptation. And you're going to see them do a lot of good combos. You know, a lot of good times they were able to get stuns onto at least 2 members, and especially 2 squishy members. So very, very well done on that sense. But now we're going to be heading into game number 2. First pick is going to go in the favor of a Heavy Impact, and we're going to Cursed Hollow, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to bring you up to the map view so you can take a look at what maps we'll be seeing next. But it is the Cursed Hollow pick. So what are your thoughts on this map specifically? We haven't seen these two teams duel at it recently, so what are your thoughts?
Cursed Hollow is the most vanilla map that we do have in this game. So for the most part, you'll still want heroes that are globals because this is a relatively large map, but you also want to have solid teamfight potential as well. As well as just heroes that do well in like close quarters. Diablo, Hogger, Hanzo. These are all heroes that comes to mind, as well as just like I mentioned earlier, globals. In particular, Dahaka and Falstad does really well. Dahaka because there's a lot of bushes in this map and they're placed in really convenient positions, and Falstad because Gus is just really stupid here, given how the bosses work.
Or you know who else is good in close corners? Probius. Probius? Please, Probius.
Okay, I would be with you, but there's money on the line here, so.
Exactly, this is the exact secret plan. The very secret plan that one of the teams have planning. They definitely have a Probius. Trust.
You said that last time we casted, and we didn't see it at all.
Well,
but
now where there's money on the listen. Now there's money on the line. They're definitely gonna pull it out. Trust.
Like it's not like I don't want to see a Probius because I sure as hell do. But in the same time, Probius is not particularly good on this map either. He does well on maps like that you'll have to stay on one point for a particularly long time, namely on Volskaya. But maybe, we'll see.
So both teams are ready to go. We're going to get this game number 2 going underway very shortly. Cursed Hollow is the map pick, and it seems like the team of Heavy Impact has opted for the first pick option as well. So we're going to see what strategy they have planned for this map. We're probably going to see, a lot of the more typical bans, a Nubrak, Stitches, probably the Haka ban a little bit earlier, because this is a bigger map, and the Haka has a lot more prowess with his global. Probably Brightwing ban as well, maybe. Or maybe we might see some targeted bans, some respect bans on the Johanna, perhaps. The Johanna definitely got a lot of good
gauges. Or the Anduin, perhaps.
Yeah, the Anduin definitely probably a lot of clutch heals, a lot of clutch light bombs coming in from Valamar's. So kudos to Valamar himself. And yes, we're going to see the Haka ban coming in instantly for the first ban of this map.
Yeah, I still expect to see an Anubrak pick or ban later on into this game, seeing how he's still very strong on this map. And just being able to just lock down a target is always valuable. But we'll see what happens.
Well, we're going to see the Stu Call ban and the Respect ban onto the Hogger. That's very interesting, but you did note that Hogger was very good on close quarter maps like this, so this may not be more so a Respect ban, but rather just Hogger is just too damn good on Cursed Hollow.
It could always just be both.
Or yeah, it could be both.
Like they straight up banned 2 solo lane bruisers, and the game hasn't even started yet. Oh, on the other side we see 2 healer bans being made. So pretty interesting bans coming out so far. All 4 heroes are very strong. We do see a Junkrat pick again. Very strong on this map as well, just being able to stall out and just place traps in very crucial points.
This trap's progressing very fast. And speaking of fast, we're going to see Lucio being locked in with the Falstad as well. We did mention that globals are very strong, and Brightwing and Dahaka were banned. It seems like they really want to focus their priorities on the global, so we're going to see Gotfilth onto his Falstad, and I'm pretty sure Gotfilth has a very good Falstad, so that's something excited for. But let's talk about this Lucio pick here. What are your thoughts on this Lucio very early on?
Well, there's a lot of walls.
I mean, yeah, sure. There's a lot of walls.
But since it's early into the draft, it's just a lot easier to counter the Lucio. For instance, seeing how the Blazes picked up and the tank role is still not being filled, Diablo might be picked for the side of Heavy Impact because, well, let's be honest here, Diablo is the strongest counter against Lucio as it stands.
Yes, but we're just going to see the Blaze and the Malfurion locked in, so a lockdown comp has started to be formatted on the side of Heavy Impact. We shall see if they decide to go through with this. Malfurion is probably known for his lockdown abilities, having that root, having that sleep, having that silence, just a lot of tools to provide so much CC. We're going to see the Lunara ban, as we mentioned in the last game, Lunara is a very, very strong hero, very high sustain, high damage, and high burst DPS. Lunara just does a lot of things, huh?
I will say, for I mentioned earlier, Nubrak, very strong hero, no surprise there. But the Lunara, as much as we praise the hero, she is not very strong on either side to be picked because both teams have a very sustaining healer. Like Lucio heals all over time, and like Malfurion is well known for just being a very sustained healer. Lunara does poorly against these types of healers, so I'm not too sure if that ban was justified.
Well, speaking of bans, well, we're talking about the Muradin now and the Sylvanas. Very interesting pick, honestly, for the side of Sylvanas. We know that Sylvanas is a bit strange on Cursed Hollow because, and the entire objective on Cursed Hollow is Sylvanas.
Literally.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
we do see Diablo.
yeah, we see the Diablo and the Vala locked in, so a very standard draft from Heavy Impact, in my opinion. It's really just textbook material, textbook plays, but
Nothing wrong with that.
we shall see what the final pick is from Cursed Hollow. They are missing an offlane bruiser, but they can offer something a bit more aggressive as well if they want to play another assassin in this comp, or another healer perhaps to be a bit more
Another
cheesy.
healer. I could see it since they do have a global Falstead.
But it's probably going to be an
But-
offlane, right? Like a
Yeah.
bruiser? Yeah. Malthael coming through. I actually don't quite like that Malthael pick though.
Their draft in general, I find not to be the most coherent. I do prefer the draft of Heavy Impact, if I would be completely honest.
Yes.
Just better damage, more lockdown potential, just standard counters against several heroes on the side of Anti-Clown. A very standard example being Diablo against the Lucio. So you do need the Lucio to go high 5 here to give himself that unstoppable whenever Diablo charges in.
I wholeheartedly agree. I do believe Heavy Impact has the very significant better draft. This Malthael last pick really doesn't say too much for me. You have a Blaze with a bunker. It really, like, any sense of last rites isn't very justified. If you're going Tormented Souls, like I mentioned, you're playing against a Malfurion.
Not very good. Here.
Yeah.
Not very good all in general, to be honest.
So
Tormented Souls.
I'm very interested to see what they have planned with this comp. I definitely think that Heavy Impact has a much more better comp with a much more fluid game plan. But we shall see, ladies and gentlemen. Anti-Clown definitely is at the 1-0 lead right now. So we shall see how this game will be unfolded. Ladies and gentlemen, on the left side, 0-1 is Heavy Impact, the number 2 seed. We have Weary Day playing the Malfurion, Zergling be playing the Blaze, Infrared on the Vala, Tremor onto the Diablo, and Mason Blaze playing the Junkrat.
And on the right, we have Anti-Clown Association. We have Kaiser on that Sylvanas, Got Filth on the Falstead, Valimar on that Lucio, Caesar Salad on the Muradin, and Dude Abides on that Malthael.
You know, it's always interesting to see on Cursed Hollow what they do at level 1. Because do they go for the division? Let's see here. Oh,
Man, this looks like a quick match, like the 1-3-1.
wait.
Oh, what? Oh, some solid damage coming out top of half his health bar.
Is he gonna recall? Oh, he's just
No,
gonna.
he's just tapping, okay.
That's a bit interesting.
I will say, as much as we like to bash on Anti-Clown's draft, they do have a much better macro game, so that's something.
Yeah, I mean Lucio definitely like speaks macro. And first gonna use his Volt already. He's gonna Tremor is
Oh wow.
getting nothing done.
He kind of just walked. He walked in, tried to charge, but got cancelled right away by the Lucio.
Yeah, very very good reaction from Valimar coming out here. No indications of ping lag. But we definitely do see the 1-3-1. You know, a lot say that, oh, it's better to do 4-1 with rotations. And it is true, you know. It's definitely better for 4-1 rotations in certain situations.
I would argue it could still be the case. However, there is no Pale Horse coming from the Malthael, so seeing a double soak situation is very unlikely, given how big this map is.
You're absolutely right. No Pale Horse seen from Malthael. We see the frequent flyer picked by Thalsen with the auto attack talents. And we're actually see overwhelming affliction here. I don't think that's better. Actually, it could be good.
It's not too bad.
It's not
the
bad,
front line
yeah.
is pretty beefy, especially with the stacking souls from the Diablo. He could be really bulky later on, especially since he has a soul shield, meaning that he's going W build, so he's going to be really difficult to kill with the comp, which is drafted by Anti-Clown.
Oh, both teams picking up the Bruiser camp, and they're going to head towards the middle lane. The first objective is spawning on the bottom side, and as always, Falstad having the option of a global means that he's able to get to the bottom lane instantly should he choose to do that, or he can just stay top lane, you know, just farm away the XP. You know, this is Cursed Hollow. It takes 3 of these little altars to be captured in order for the objective to be initialized. So we shall see. The middle Bruiser on the side of Anti-Clown has gone down. So we're going to see a very healthy Bruiser camp actually walk towards the middle gate here for the side of Heavy Impact. Will they do anything about that? It looks like their emphasis is still indeed on the bottom lane. Playing a 2v3 lane, this is very, very quirky in the sense that everybody's just very, very strange with locations. There's not a lot of like coherence. And speaking of coherence, a good charge from Tremor, but no stun on the wall means that Gotham is going to be able to dash out without any issues.
Even with a stun, having a Junkrat and a Diablo try to kill a Malphite at level 5 is going to be very difficult.
Oh, level 4s on both teams are seeing it. The sleep is onto Kelsier. The volt forward from Infrared, very, very ballsy, is able to get a lot of damage onto Kelsier. Season Sound is going to be hopping right back out, and proc the second win to heal him back up to a very relatively safe threshold. Gothfield is still on the top lane. Let's see what he's going to do. Blaze picking up the top Siege Cat, meaning that Gothfield has to stay and deal with those two pesky catapult minions. And we're going to see a lot of focus here on the bottom lane, but not too many. Mason's Blaze is going to arrive here to make it a 4v3 situation for Heavy Impact. And let's see if the focus is going to be onto Caesar Salad. Valimar doing his best to protect his main tank. You know, you don't want your dwarf to get caught out in these situations. And yeah, they're going to forfeit. They're going to forfeit the first objective, as you've seen. Falsa is indeed in the top lane, and Sylvanas is in the middle lane. So there isn't a lot of good spacing here coming out from Anti-Clown to really force it. And as I mentioned, the first objective is nothing until you get the third objective.
Yeah, typically on this map you do see the first objective take a very long time because both teams like to soak until they get level 7 before engaging. That being said, Anti-Clown chose to send too many people to soak, resulting in them losing the first objective.
Yeah, for sure. That is indeed it, but I guess at first objective really, it really doesn't matter. Speaking of doesn't matter, Gothfield taking a lot of damage here. It actually goes down for first blood. Wow, I was actually not expecting that. I thought that Gothfield was actually out of that situation. Was Zergling actually getting that?
Sylvanas also went down mid.
Wow, I'm just missing everything.
Yeah, Sylvanas got double queued by Davala and was able to get shot by the multi-shot W ability, resulting in a takedown.
Oh, now let's take a look at the top lane. Tremor's in a little bit of a dangerous position. Valimar is very healthy here. You know, he is at full health, and Zergling and Tremor are indeed on a little bit on the weaker side. But with the objective on their side of the map, I think they are going to go for this second objective without any contention. And yes, Anti-Clown is once again going to forfeit this second objective. So meaning that they got to contest the third one if they want to snuff out all hopes of a snowball coming out from Heavy Impact.
Yeah, we do also see Valo taking that Monster Hunter at level 7, meaning that they might prioritize a boss going forward, given how quickly they can melt the boss on this map.
Yeah, with level 10s approaching, and looks like they are positioning for a boss take here. You see Blaze is going to be making his way into the middle lane. Grab the last bit of XP, and yes, boss is started on the side of Heavy Impact. You note you note the Monster Hunter, which means that this is going to be taking a lot of damage very, very quickly. Answered by a boss attempt from Anti-Clown, but they're on a time limit. The objective is in the bottom lane. They need to take this very quickly, otherwise they will not be able to take the bottom objective. They're going to have to forfeit the first real objective of the game. They're going to be very, very fast with this. Gothfield is going to clean it up, has options to just fly straight down. But look at the positioning already coming out from Heavy Impact. In a very, very good position. They have the vision here. You know, just to check out where they all are. And here we go. The engage is onto the Diablo. The flip charge is onto the Murden. Force out the Avatar. The Light Me Breath comes in, followed by the Tranquility. And here comes Falstead with the flank. Is he going to get a good gust into the team? This is what we're going to be seeing. No, it's just going to be stopping Mason Blaze from capturing. Who is going to stop the next one is going to be the Sylvanas. And now we're in a 5v5 situation. Murden is actually in a little bit of a low health situation. A lot of big heroics down from the side of Heavy Impact. So let's see if they can make something happen here. And yeah, here we go. The charge, the jump is onto Weary Day. Mind Control coming out, plus the last place, but it's not enough. Malthael is going to go down to the Vala. Tremor is going to get healed back up by the Malfurion. And the bunker is dropped by Zerglin just to buy time for Heavy Impact to regroup and take this first objective. There is nobody to stop them. And ladies and gentlemen, the first phase is going to be in favor of Heavy Impact. The bottom boss has already taken a fort, and we have seen another pause.
Oh, the Vala has left the game, meaning that we'll probably be here for a while.
We are going to definitely be here for a while. Yeah, we're just vibing then.
Yeah, we're just chilling. You see the Vala like recalling in the middle of the, the bottom mid-bottom lane.
Vala is recalling in a very odd position. I mean, Well, I guess we talk about talents then.
We could talk about the team fight that just occurred. It was pretty scrappy overall. It was also very prolonged. Like you saw, like both teams just chilling after both teams used alter ults. So basically, Heavy Impact tried to engage, that didn't work out. Anti-Clown tried to engage, that didn't work out. And then they both teams just start chilling for like a minute or so. Junkrat was just clearing the bot lane with the boss. And then once Sylvanas got her mind control back up, they decided to engage again. In which Malphel, I guess he dived a bit too far in, tried to get the Diablo, and he was picked off while Diablo was able to live with like 4 HP.
Yeah, the Diablo lived because of the soul shield he picked level 1. You say barely surviving from the last rites. So we did mention how last rites is going to be very difficult to get as much value. Even on Diablo with no bunker available, he still lived with that level 1 active. So we're probably going to see a lot more struggles with the last rite in play.
I'm pretty sure last rites isn't affected by soul shield because it's percentage-based damage. I'm pretty sure.
You might be right, but also the soul shield also prevent a lot of damage from Sylvanas.
Yeah, the other damage I agree. That's probably what saved him from Sylvanas' damage, as well as just the boomerang burst damage as well.
Well, we have no clue what's going on. We have not been informed of any mishaps. We're just vibing, I guess.
Yep, we can now talk about talents because we just analyzed the previous fight.
Yeah, I mean, we now is the best time because this action is not going to stop anytime soon.
But like the thing is, it's been very standard on both sides, like very standard. Like Malfurion's entire build is quite standard. Tranquility was being picked instead of the silence, but that's again quite standard overall. We do see Riptire, Strafe. Strafe has been seeing less play recently, given how W build has been nerfed. So we do see more stuns with the Rain of Vengeance, but Strafe is still very strong altogether. We saw the bunker drop being used to like stay alive, while the team of Heavy Impact was zoned out, leaving Blaze alone and keeping him alive for a significant amount of time. But overall, it's been quite standard. Mind Control as well, just very strong lockdown tool. And all the talents at 1, 7, and 4 seems to be pretty normal, with the exception of blown up by the Junkrat at level 1.
That's what I'd like to go back then, before the junk changes. That was my go-to.
I mean, still very strong talent. It's not like it got any worse. It's just that, that Q talent level 1, the one that makes it so that your last bomb does a lot more damage. Like I think it's 120% more damage. That's a lot more popular now because it's just a lot more reliable.
Yeah, that's for sure. I 100% agree with you in that sense, but it looks like both teams are ready to go. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get right back into the game shortly. As long as both teams have given the ready signal, we're going to jump back into it, ladies and gentlemen. We are ready to go. Here we go. We're back into the game. The pause is done. I am ready, but I don't think I can chat to them. But we are ready to go. Yeah, we are not referees. We cannot chat with them, but we are ready. Maybe you can hear us from a million miles away.
Well, luckily we're here, so we won't miss any action.
Yeah. I do want to note that both bosses have indeed taken down a fort respectively, so there is some value granted for both teams. Both teams have chosen to ignore the boss, so that's why we'll have each of the structures go down for both teams. And now the middle one is going to be the target. You don't need any minions to push it, but looks like they're just not going to force anything. Oh, see this out. Here we go. Look for an engage, but it's going to get mind controlled by the Diablo. The Diablo is going to get mind controlled. And now the focus is on to Weary Day. He's going to get chain CC'd and locked down. Last rites is not even used yet. Trevor is next to follow. So a good engage means that there is not going to be a lot of value coming out from Subjective. You saw Blaze wasn't really there, but Ludovine's in no man's land is going to go down to a free kill.
Yeah, he was kind of on his own, just chilling in the bush.
Yeah, Zerglings was chilling, and then it was a very poor rotation from Duda Bides, honestly. So I think he needs to be a bit more careful, a bit more respectful of the burst damage without the Malfurion and without the Diablo. And here comes burst damage indeed. Charges onto Kelsier with no mana, barely making it out. It's gonna recall right in front of their faces, kind of taunting them in that sense.
Yeah, something to keep in mind is that Vala did go for full Q build, meaning that she is very bursty, like much more bursty than usual, and that's something that Infred was able to take advantage of going into this game because she was able to like just simply have these free picks early on, as we've seen earlier with Dude Abyss on that Malthael.
Yeah, so we're gonna see some just camps being taken, a lot of downtime in the sense that nothing is really gonna happen, both teams without even close to getting their next objective phase, so they're just vibing. We take a look at the level 13s here.
There are some interesting picks here, I have to admit. Level 13, we do see Gloom coming out from Vala. Despite going full Q build up into this point, we do not see that burst healing with the QW talent at 13, instead opting for the spell shield and passive healing. We also see Malthael going for Inevitable End, meaning that he has a self-cleanse, which means that he'll be able to get 2 seconds of Unstoppable while dropping all of his active Reaper Mark trait.
Yeah, great. And here we go. Mid lane action is about to begin. The flip is onto Caesar Sal. It's going to force out the soft cleanse from the Malfurion. The charge is once again onto Caesar Sal. It's going to force the Avatar and the Gust. A little bit of a misplay, I think. I don't think both ultimates need to be expended in that situation.
I feel like the Avatar was fine because he was about to die, but I don't feel like the Gust was necessary given how they had the extra 20 spell shield with the camp.
Speaking of the camp, it's going to get a little bit of value. And here comes a charge once again from Tremor. The bunker is going to be popped, but it's going to be healed all the way back up by Velamar. The fly is used by Gothville to ensure that nothing is going to be happening.
The bunker's so good. It gets rid of Reaper's Mark, meaning that as long as they go back into that building, Malthael will not be able to do any damage to them at all.
Yeah, we mentioned that how Malthael is just so bad into Blades in terms of team fights. Let's see if Tremor's going to look for something here. He's not at 100 soul, so he has a little bit less health than what he has hoped for. Caesar's in a very, very quirky spot, and the objective is going to spawn. The charge is once again onto Caesar Sal. He's going to be leaped away, and it's going to force out the mind control with the stun from Caesar Sal. It means that the CC is not going to do really anything. And that's a big cooldown coming out from Sylvanas. They're not going to fight for it without the mind control, so they're going to give it once again to Heavy Impact, who's taken all the objectives so far in this game.
Like, I know we did mention that like the first objective does not matter as much, given how they still need to get 2 more, but keep in mind that Heavy Impact has essentially been getting all these objectives for free.
Yeah, like there really hasn't been any contention, and Zergling is going to go down here in the top lane to a 5-man rotation. It is going to mean that boss is going to be free to take for both teams. Let's see if Anti-Clown is going to try to rotate, and yes, they're going to try to rotate towards this bottom boss. They do have the Vala though, so this Vala is going to be shredding this boss, and yeah, they're not going to make it there in time. Gust is not going to come through. It was a valiant attempt, but not enough at the end of the day.
The root into the stun.
I mean, sure, Malthael's going to get a little bit of damage from the boss. Very interesting. It was very, very close, but I think they have to realize that Monster Hunter just does so much damage to monsters.
Yeah, absolutely melts. Like, although you could argue the boss won't get too much value, it does stall long enough for Blades to come back and contest for the second objective, which means that they'll get another objective, meaning that the next objective will matter.
Once again, without contention, this is very passive gameplay coming from Anti-Clown. I'm not sure if it's going to pay off in the late game, but here we go. Caesar Sal is going to be jumping onto Zergling. A good stun from Lucio means that Zergling's going to be forcing out the Unstoppable, and it's going to charge away.
Yeah, they did want to force there, given how they did have the 16 in favor of Anti-Cloud Association, which is why you saw them like just go for that Blaze. But unfortunately, both teams do have 16s now, which makes the team fights a lot more close. Yeah,
they're basically on even grounds, really. There's not a significant advantage. There isn't even a level 17-16 advantage. You know, level 17 does give you a little bit of HP. And the Bush strategy is going to get Murden and Lucio in a very awkward spot. He's going to be able to dash out with the wall tech. And here we go. Gothfeld has flown into the fight as well, but no deaths, and Zergling is going to heal back up with the assist of Malfurion. And this is the first real team fight we might see from both teams. You know, the last one was a bit scrappy. Here we go. The charges onto the Sylvanas. Are we going to see the Lightning Breath? No, Infrared goes down instantly through the Falstad and the Malthael. And the bunker is too late, not going to be able to save the Hyper Carry now. And now Tremor is going to just get absolutely melted and stunned to death. Weary Day is the next to follow, and Lucio's here to make sure that he does not run away.
Naturally.
He is not going to run away. He is not going to run away, and neither are you, Zergling. And it's a 4-0 for Anti-Clown Association, and the first legitimate team fight came out to be an absolute team fight.
Like, wow, getting that early Vala kill really did turn the fight in the favor of Anti-Clown.
I mean, what can you do? You lost one of your highest damage dealers, right? Vala just do so much damage.
Whoa, spread volley from Junkrat level 16. I didn't even realize it until you used it just now.
Spread volley, Pog. Is that even good? I guess
it's pretty bad. It's not as bad as the burst grenade talent, which forces you to use all your charges at once. But it's not amazing compared to the cooldown reduction.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually don't even know how Vala got caught out. Do you remember what happened?
Unfortunately, I didn't see it myself. I was focused on the Diablo charging in.
Yeah, I just saw Diablo charging in, and I was like, wait, Vala's dead. Huh?
Yeah, I saw Vala's death come up on the screen. I was like, huh.
I did see the last rites, but she was so close to death anyways. I don't think it would have mattered whatsoever.
Last rites value.
Last rites value indeed, and for the reward, they will get the objective, and of course, the top boss. They get a top boss as well, so I mean that's something, right?
The lead is like very significant though. We might be seeing an 18 to level 20 situation here very soon.
Here we go, the flip and charge combos once again onto Muradin, followed by a sleep, displace, and silence. But that's going to force out the Avatar as not a kill. That is a little bit dangerous from heavy impact. The Lightning Breath is going to be used to clear the wave and do a little bit of damage towards the boss. And charge once again coming to Sylvanas, forcing out the High Five and the Forsaken Will. And the charge once again going in from Zerkin, really trying to force this fight here, make sure the top keep will not go down. But at the end of the day, the Stone Golem is going to wreck it to pieces. And now they have a top keep advantage going for the second objective here in the bottom side. It looks like Heavy Impact's not going to contest. They're going to have to deal with this middle camp as well. So this is going to be a freebie for Anti-Clown, which means that the next objective is going to spell a significant amount of damage for either team.
It's going to be still in favor of Anti-Clown next objective anyways, because they will have the 20 advantage, unless somehow Heavy Impact will be able to either get a takedown or reach level 20 before the next objective phase, which I find to be pretty unlikely.
And I also do want to note, even though that the objective has been significantly in favor of Heavy Impact, there is a 4-2 structure lead for Anti-Clown. So they're playing this very, very well without the assistance of the objective. So I would say that's a very good job well done playing macro-wise. You know, being up so many structures without objectives is very, very difficult. And let's see if they're able to snowball this any further. They're going to get this bottom boss for free, as you mentioned. No 20s for Heavy Impact. They're in the very back foot now. They're up against the corners of the wall. They gotta make a miracle happen if they want to get this. If they want to win game number 2, or they're gonna go 0-2 down in the series. This might be a very good reverse sweep coming out from Anti-Clown should this proceed this way.
Man, like Sylvanas just makes this push even more dangerous. Like you have a siege camp, you have a boss, you have a Fawcett jumping in, like Black Arrows. This is not looking very good.
No Merc Queen though.
Good. That's a good point. She went Unstable Poison instead.
Oh, the jump is onto Infra. It's going to force out the Soft Cleanse. The root is onto Caesar Salad, but it's going to miss, but it's going to get recharged back. The Gust plus Mind Control onto the Diablo. So much anti-heal coming in. The Tranquility is not going to be healing as much. The Riptide doing a lot of damage. So is the Bunker. But the bottom keep still goes down. The fight is still going on. Are they not going to take down the boss? The core is starting to get sieged, and here we go. The Mind Control comes back into play, this time onto Zergling, the only person in that little hubble of mess, and Zergling is going to go down being so isolated. The rest of the team is focusing on the boss, so it's going to be a noble sacrifice. And now Malthael is taking a lot of damage. The good combo plus the strafe damage is going to take down the Malthael, but it's going to come back right again. She has returned.
Wow. Tremor was able to make it out of that, despite taking so much damage from that fight.
Tremor just heals so much. I think he also tapped somewhere in that fight, so I mean, even though it's not a
Sure.
Devil's Due, it's still quite a bit of healing and sustain, given that, Diablo is at what, 100, so that's a lot of healing coming through. But here we go. The objective is taken control by Anti-Clown. They're going to take and start sieging away on this final keep. If this keep goes down, Heavy Impact will have to climb basically Mount Everest to win this game. Like, you're down so much structure and so much map pressure. This is going to be very, very tough should they not be able to win in this team fight right here. Seasal taking a lot of damage from the Junkrat. Wow, that's a lot of damage. The high five is just barely in time to make sure that Seasal rocks out just fine. The Tranquility is popped as well, and so is the Riptire. The Gust is also used, but the focus was not the team fight. It was the middle keep, and now Heavy Impact is structureless.
Like the only way they could win is if they fully team wipe Anti-Clown Association and just run it down top of bot, because it's looking really rough.
And now the mind controls once again onto Tremor. The last rites is going to secure the kill, force out the passive here. It's going to resurrect just for this time for this next push with the Bruiser camp. But without his 100 souls, Tremor is significantly weaker. A good 3-man charge onto the backline, but is there enough damage? No, Blaze goes down, Tremor goes down. The entire front line has fallen. The soft cleanse will not stop Infrared from going down here as well. Mason Blaze is going to be able to launch him back into the Hall of Heroes. But ladies and gentlemen, in a very epic and very good macro game coming from out, it's not going to be enough. There's no way. There's no way. Yeah, you are absolutely done. Junkrat's little pass. Try to get a little bit more value, but ladies and gentlemen, game number 2 going in favor with a 2-0 lead. Anti-Clown Association. GG and well played. I mean, if that's not what you call a macro win, I don't know what is. That is very, very well played from Anti-Clown, knowing and just forfeiting so many objectives, but still getting more value than Heavy Impact in terms of structure damage.
Wow, what a game. I'm not actually entirely sure what to say at this point. Wow.
I mean, Cursed Hollow just sucks. It actually sucks.
Like, as many objectives as Heavy Impact got, like, they got almost no value out of the first objective because they got wiped as the objective was running. So they got no value there. Their bosses in general got less value than the enemy, like basically Anti-Clown Association's bosses. So in terms of getting value from what they put their money into, like the bosses, the objectives, Anti-Clown Association just got so much more value out of everything. And it really shows with their structural advantage, as well as like their team fight ability, because you saw like how much value Mind Control got that game, just being able to lock down that Diablo. And like they had Heavy Impact had to like sacrifice so many resources to like keep the Diablo alive. We see Blaze always throw down the bunker every time Diablo gets mind controlled. We see Tranquility always being popped. Like these are like just tools that could have been used for like everything else, such as like Falstead's Gust or Murden jumping in, but they're not there anymore because Diablo got mind controlled. So well done by the Sylvanas. That was really well done.
Yeah, MVP candidate for this game. I mean, we're going to game number 3, and Impact down 2-0. This is not looking very good. You know, like last time they played, like I've mentioned, it's a very, very solid 3-0 from Heavy Impact. But it seems like Anti-Clown has indeed done their research. But we shall see what's going to happen as we take a look at what's going to be our map number 3 of this evening. It's going to be Battlefield of Eternity.
Ooh, that's fun.
I'm in the wrong Battlefield of Eternity. Oops. There's 2 Battlefield Eternity lobbies literally joined together, and I was like, oh, I joined the wrong one. Whoops.
That's pretty funny. Like a different custom game?
Yeah, it was a different match being played, also on BOE.
That's pretty awkward.
And then they sent both their invites together, and I clicked the wrong one.
Oh, no way.
That's so ironic.
Well, BOE is a really fun game to watch, if I have to be completely honest, so I'm totally okay with this.
Yeah, I mean, if you've watched our cast in the past, we love casting BOE.
Like, just more action. Just more to say. And this is a map where there's a lot of talent variety, because talents you might not see elsewhere will be very strong here. Like, although last game was the exception, this is the map where Valos typically go Monster Hunter at 7. We normally don't see that for most games, but for last game they did pick it, which I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, definitely this map is something we should look out for. However, Junkrat is probably going to be picked again, so that's not as unique.
That's for sure. I mean, they've picked the Junkrat basically every game, but do I think that they're going to pick it again, and do they think they want to? Yeah, I think they might want to pick the Junkrat again.
He didn't get much value both games, to be completely honest. First game, he got the Junkrat got countered pretty hard by the Johanna Anduin Light Bomb combo, and last game it just simply didn't do enough damage to justify picking the hero.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think that if they're not going to pick it, they have to ban it, right? I think Junkrat's also just way too strong on BOE, so...
Yep, that's what I was saying. Like, if we can't have it, nor can you mentality.
We're just waiting on a few members from Anticon to join the lobby. Seems like they're just getting some water, using a washroom break, so they're going to be delayed as of now. But like Heavy Impact, I want to keep talking about this. They really are need to step their game up. I think the last game was a little bit of a disappointment from Heavy, from my perspective. Getting such an advantage and just they just give you so many opportunities to do something, but they just couldn't push it over the line in a lot of those fights. That really just spelled out the ultimate doom for Cursed Hollow.
Yeah, you just saw just simply not on the same page. You saw Blaze getting these really awesome stuns into the backline, but he was by himself, and he didn't have bunker ready, so he just kept on getting picked off on his own. And same thing with Diablo. He would just charge in when his team was nowhere near, and he'll get mind controlled, forcing his team to come close to him to save him. It's just very, very unfortunate.
So yeah, it looks like both teams are ready to go. We are about to get underway into game number 3 of this evening. Hopefully not the last game, but it very well might be if they're able to continue this very snowball momentum they have on Anticon Association. First pick is once again on the side of Heavy Impact. Are we going to see the Junkrat ban? Are we going to see the Junkrat first pick? We're about to find out.
What makes this map different from every other map we've casted today is the importance of melt potential. Just the ability to get rid of that immortal as quickly as possible to win the objective. So in this game, we'll likely see heroes such as Hanzo Scatter Arrow build, Greymane, Vala, Rainer with Exterminator at level 1. These are all heroes that are really prominent on this map, as well as just heroes similar to last game that could benefit from walls, such as Lucio, Diablo, Hogger, which has been banned. So I'm looking forward to what both teams pull out this match.
Yeah, just Stukov just getting banned every game by Anticon. They really don't want to.
Very prominent hero though, to be fair. Very scary.
Yeah.
His slaps hurt.
Slap him with this mutant arm of his. That's so gross.
It's so gnarly. How much damage it deals. I think at level 1 it deals 300 for
yeah,
each.
it chunks you. It really does chunk you.
That's, DPS wise, it's on par with Vala.
Yo, honestly, Stim Drone Stukov.
Oh, it's so gross. That means you have to run Morales, which is in itself a handicap.
What? Don't diss my beautiful medic like that. She's doing her best.
Back to the match real quickly. We do see the Junkrat being banned. Like we mentioned earlier, the hero isn't simply working out for Heavy Impact this game, so they're going to just ban it instead. Lenara, a very good ban because I forgot to mention this, but Lenara also has really strong race at level 4, giving her extra 150% damage to non-heroes, including the Immortals, so it's kind of gross.
I mean, probably gonna say the Nubrak or the Stitch's first pick here. Both these heroes are still up for picks. And no, we're gonna see the Brightwing, very, very good pick, dude.
Yep. Very standard so far. Doesn't always have to be a tank picked first.
But I do want to note that they did ban a lot of tanks in games 1 and 2, especially game number 1. They banned 4 tanks, so that was quite a bit. So
the issue with this map is most tanks just do really well here, so there's no point banning one tank over another when the vast majority of tanks are just strong.
Well, your prediction was right. We're gonna see the Speedy Boy Lucio and the Yrel locked in by Duda Bynes.
Yrel is an odd one because yes, she's very strong. Even on this map, she's also quite strong. Just ability to stall. She's kind of like a Leoric in a sense, where her race isn't the best, but her ability to reduce damage and just annoy the opponents while they try to hit the immortal is just quite invaluable. The only issue I have with picking her this early is that she's quite easily counterable in the solo lane. and in general.
Is that-
Okay.
Is that the counter you're expecting?
To be honest, no. Wow, what the? Well, Monster Hunter Vala.
Yeah, let's talk about Vala. Let's not talk about the big fat panda that just got locked in by Zerglin.
Like, this is like priorities, man. We should talk about things that are quick to talk about before talking about stuff that takes a long time. So Vala, Monster Hunter, done. Now Diablo being bad, very standard so far. Really strong counter to Lucio, despite Lucio not dying last game. And Nubrak also very strong ban, as we've mentioned like at least a couple times. Cocoon, very strong. Chen.
Let's open the can of worms now. What can we say about this Chen pick?
Doesn't counter Urel in the slightest. Wait, who's up 2 again? It's Anti-Clown, right?
Yeah, on the right, so...
This has to be a throw. Okay.
No, this is their secret plan. It may not be appropriate. But this was the last-ditch plan they had ready.
Oh, okay, I kind of see it now. Barrel? Okay, what the hell? Wait a minute.
Yo, go on, Malios, go on. What are your
I was
thoughts?
just about to say, the barrel roll into the immortal stuns could be something. Barrel into stopping the enemy team from hitting the objective could be something. Isolation with the barrel could be something. I don't see him going the other panda ult. It has to be barrel to get any value.
Let's go.
The Li Ming very strong on this map. Muradin very standard. Falstead not as strong on this map per se, but Gus is still very strong nevertheless. But there is no boss to contest, meaning that Gus does lose some value, as there's no point to contest on this map. But we do see Garrosh, Chen, and Zarya.
So this is a hyper carry Vala comp being played by Heavy Impact.
Hyper carry with a Garrosh main tank.
I mean, you have three pretty
Do you
beefy.
consider Zarya to be a frontline? Zaryas tend to die last during a team fight, statistically speaking. So.
This is a very, very quirky comp coming from Heavy Impact. I'm not gonna lie, it's a bit strange from my perspective. I don't really know what their game plan is. I guess they're using the barrel to peel, or they actually might go for Earth, Fire, and Air. They actually might go for that also.
Earth, Fire, and Air doesn't get too much value here. Like, I'd much rather see the barrel to take advantage of the map layout. Despite having a Vala, they actually do lose race to Anti-Clown, because Li Ming has decent race even without that Seeker talent at level 7. Muradin with that Stormbolt talent at level 4, very strong. At melting. Falstad being a decent melter himself, so to be honest, I have to give this draft to Anti-Clown Association. But I was wrong last round, as I thought Heavy Impact's draft was better last round. So maybe we will see a comeback this time around.
Yeah, and we shall see what Heavy Impact will do on the left side of the map. We're going to have Infrared play the Hyper Carry Vala Tremor on the Garrosh. Zerglin play the Zarya. Weary Day once again on the Brightwing. And the big old pandas being played by Mason Blaze.
And very quickly on the right, we have Anti-Clown Association. We have Kelzer on the Li Ming, Caesar Sala on the Muradin, Valamir on that Lucio, Got Filth on the Falset, and Dude Abyss on that Urel. Wow, we do see Storm Stout secret recipe from Chen, meaning that he went for the percentage-based healing at level 1, which is already very... Like, the hero pick itself is already really strange, but that talent's also really strange as well.
I mean, we're going to see the toss coming out from Garrosh.
No damage.
I guess that the point of Chen is just to live, like, that's all Chen needs to do, is just live.
Like, the problem I have with Garrosh is it's a lockdown-esque type of tank, but there's not enough damage to justify the hero. Like, the Brightwing Garrosh combo is very nice, I have to admit, but, like, Zarya really needs to keep her energy up to be able to, like, lock down any kills.
And that's like the same thing with Overwatch. If you played Overwatch, Zarya really needs to get her energy basically above 50 at all times. If you don't get it above 50, you're basically doing 0 damage. Like, you're actually just tickling them.
I can see the theory, like, Zarya could be like an extra damage dealer while also making sure that Vala lives. Like, in theory it works. I mean, it makes sense, but like, that means the reliability of the Garrosh pick diminishes.
But can we talk about this positioning from Anti-Clown, going for the 3v2 situation here? Do you think this is a good macro play coming in from Anti-Clown?
I don't think so, because if you look at the structure damage so far. We do see like heavy impact going for that bottom like fountain already, which is really bad this early on.
Speaking of bad, Caesar Salad might just go down here, but I mean Lucio is definitely gonna make sure Caesar Salad's fine here. And both
Like
teams
we make fun of heavy impact damage, but having only Li Ming bot for damage against like a healer and Zarya isn't going to do much for Anti-Clown either. So I believe that like either Falstad or the Uriel does need to rotate down. Preferably the Falstad though.
Yeah, for sure. I think Vala just definitely outdamages Li Ming in this kind of gameplay, in this kind of scenario. So this Li Ming cannot do much until she gets her reset, right? Until she gets the kills she needs, and that's not gonna happen right now. It really isn't.
No.
Garrosh, Zarya plus Brightwing is just way too much sustain, way too much protection. And they're going to try to do something here. See, this gonna be walking up, just pop down the static field. It's going to just get tossed away from Tremor. Take a little bit of damage, but once again, the fort's already 50% health. Like here, like they're really doing their best, aren't they? Like Caesar Salad and Velam are trying to do their best to harass the damage.
This 2-free layout doesn't make sense at all. Because you see Gathering Storm being picked by the Falstad, meaning that he does prefer to be in the 4-man to stack that Q quest at level 1, but instead, the only target he has to stack it on is that Chen, meaning that like his stacking potential is way weaker than Vala's. Yeah.
It's just not very good, but we were going to see how good this might be. A good knock away from Riel, almost gets this assist from the Immortal, but that is not going to be the case. Remember, you have only Vala, realistically, who can just deal a lot of damage to the Immortal. And on the other hand, Falstad and Li Ming is going to outdamage Vala until she picks up that Monster Hunter at level 7. So this is going to be a very tight race, in my opinion, as Zarya gets intentionally stunned. And Heavy Impact actually has a slight lead of just over 2,500 HP.
Yeah.
Now let's see what's going to happen. Zergly is in a very awkward position, but with the shield, is going to be able to make sure he's just fine. Mason Blaze doing the best to just harass and drink away his problems. They knock his... Oh, Vala gets stunned by the Immortal. They take a lot of damage here. It's very, very low mana, very low HP. But it seems that Anti-Cloud once again is going to forfeit the objective.
What's interesting though is that we do see Muradin not go for the race talent level 4, instead going for the attack speed slow, which in theory does work really well given how Zarya and Vala does rely heavily on their auto attacks for damage, but that means that he needs to be able to walk up to Vala and press W in order for that to work.
I mean, I think they forfeited the fact that they're not going to win race. They just got to win fights, so it is fine in my sense that Ace... Oh, here we go, the toss from Tremor. It's not going to get stunned by the Immortal.
Okay, yeah, he doesn't have a leap, but like he's just tanky enough to just walk out. Oh, both teams are bringing all the heroes top. Pretty interesting.
Oh, here we go. The 5v5 is about to begin. Caesar Salad and Dudabites walking into the fight. Lucio doing his best to reverse amp the healing and the slow, but it is nothing going to be... We're not going to see any kills.
We can't. Dudabites has no mana, meaning that like he went in then walked out and is like, right, I did my job. I'm going back bot.
Yeah. I'm going to chase that fat panda of his. He's going to drink again. Glop, glop, glop. Drink, drink, drink. Glop, glop,
Exactly.
glop. I love Chen, man. It's not opprobrious, but it's good enough for me. Wow, good 3-man stun from Trevor. Finishing that quest 5 minutes. It's very early, to be quite honest.
Yeah, Warbreaker like isn't as easy to stack as it sounds. Like hitting 15 heroes with the Q isn't that easy, to be honest.
Yeah, so wow, very, very well done from Tremor, getting that quest done very early. I think much earlier than most people would in a very professional and very competitive environment. You know, maybe Stormly you get it done like in 3 minutes if you're lucky. Oh, here we go. The toss is once again onto Caesar Salad. The Polymorph follow-up is not enough to provide too much more damage onto Caesar Salad. Once again, a 4v4 situation. Now Goth Delta's here, but he's half health. Tremor is the next one to be targeted. He's going to get the barrier and the unstoppable and the teleport from Brightwing. So Tremor is more than just fine. He's healthy. He's getting his 8 servings of vegetables a day.
Like, you see Garrosh with the armor, plus burst healing from Brightwing, plus the shields from Zarya, which doesn't translate into health, meaning that Garrosh keeps the armor. Makes it just very difficult for Li Ming and Falstad to burn through. Like, keep in mind, Li Ming doesn't pop off until she gets a kill. They're not getting any kills. Like, look at the kill count right now. It's still 0-0. There isn't enough damage from either side to guarantee anything.
Yeah, 0 deaths on both teams. There really hasn't been too much action. There's a lot of macro plays, a lot of attempts from both teams to try to make something happen. And the race,
Honestly,
once again, goes into heavy impact, as we mentioned.
I want to see a Hinterlands blast from Falstead, to be honest. They need the damage. Gus isn't going to do too much for them.
Yeah, you have an unstoppable Garrosh, you have an unstoppable Chen, you have an unstoppable Zarya. It's a lot of unstoppables.
Like, I could see, like, Gus is always good, don't get me wrong. You just want damage, in my opinion. Like, you saw them, like, throw all their damage at Garrosh and he walked away with half health. That's not something you want to see.
Here we go. The teams are positioned for this second objective.
It's a Storm Urban 5 from Chen.
It is indeed the triple panda lockdown, and here we go. Duda Bias has finally jumped into the action just to walk back out again. There actually isn't too much happening here. This is very, very, very good macro play from both teams. They don't want to risk anything. You know, both teams are positioned to be very safe. And once again, the combo is onto Caesar Salad. The cleanse is popped from the Caesar Salad here. Here we go. Tremor's in a very bad spot. Gets a beautiful 4-man taunt plus the healing from his W. Is not going to be. It is going to be enough. Zerly with the clutch shield. And here we go. The reverse engage is on its way. Heavy Impact marching down with all the confidence in the world, but no kills in their pockets.
Tremor with the armor coming in clutch.
And here we go. This time the toss onto Li Ming. This is very bad. It's going to force the high five from Valimar onto Kelsier. It almost could have been really bad if Kelsier gets followed up on that. And the only heroics we have left, and here we go. Infrared is in a bad spot, but once again, the barrier from Zarya is going to make sure Infrared walks out alive, and the toss is once again onto the Muradin. Zarya's in the middle of nowhere, and the reset is finally here. Are we going to see Kelsier lock down a couple more kills with their cooldown resets? And no, it's just going to go start and siege onto the top Immortal. You know, you see Heavy Impact really trying to get this objective in their favor, and it looks like they're going to do their best, but it's going to be a very tight race. The taunt coming in. Mason Blaze blowing away. No. The Vala goes down. This is very catastrophic if they don't get this. Mason Blaze, 300 HP, 200. Oh, oh my goodness. Was it worth the team wipe though?
Can he get killed though?
Oh my god, this is so close. Zarya's back here, but no, Chen is gone, and now Zergling is all by her lonesome. They might have gotten an objective, but at what cost?
Chen should have just tried to kill either Lucio or the False. He shouldn't have tried to leave. But yeah, they got the objective, but for a level.
That is very, very, very interesting.
Keep in mind, like, before that fight, they had it was 0 to 0 to kills. Now it's 0 and 6. 6.
They got 6 kills in one team fight.
Yeah.
Zarya, I think, died twice, I believe. And yeah, Zarya did indeed die twice, so. Bit unfortunate. The top 4 doesn't even go down. Wow. That is very unfortunate. Look at that fort. 77 HP. Very unfortunate. Was not able to get that down. Cruciator, thank you with the raid with your party of 20. Hope you're here to enjoy the Storm Division game. Right now, Anti-Clown is indeed up 2-0, and Heavy Impact is facing elimination if they were not able to win this game. A very surprising scoreline for my opinion, but let's see if they're able to make it work. But they're already down a lot of kills, a lot of XP, 13 level advantage coming in favor of Anti-Clown, and Duda buys trying to look for something here onto Brightwing, but it's going to force a blink heal away.
Despite being a whole level down and getting 6 deaths, we do see a structural advantage for the side of Heavy Impact, meaning that all is not over, like anytime soon. Like 13s are coming soon. We do see an invade coming from Anti-Clown Association on the enemy bruiser camp, meaning that Heavy Impact won't have it for the upcoming objective phase.
Yeah, they can't do anything about it. They're down 13. They have no position to really fight for this, so they're gonna have to forfeit and give it one of their biggest lane pressures away. Garrosh is in a very weird spot. Misses the stun, and now this is very, very bad. It's gonna force out the teleport from Murray, but it doesn't matter. Tremor is basically 1/3 health. This is very, very bad. The pulse is gonna stop Caesar Salad from walking away back to his team. A lot of heroics used, but not a lot happened.
While all of that happened, and we see bottom fort from the side of Heavy Impact be half health. Keep in mind that their front gate is still up, but half of that fort is like gone.
And here we go. Heavy Impact is going to start the Mortal Melt. Caesar Salad is once again not going to get stunned. Tremor missing the stun combo twice already. So that could be a little bit bad. Might be a little bit of mental problem going out here. The taunt is up in 5 seconds. Are they going to see it in play? Tremor is just getting melted. A good soft cleanse from the Bright Wing is going to make sure that Tremor walks out. The taunt is onto the Yrel, forcing out the Ardent Defender. Mason Blaze and Gotfield are duking it out. And here comes the triple Pandas.
Well, the Pandas came a bit late in my opinion. Like,
I guess
just like walking away.
I guess you could use it to siege, or he's just using it to zone.
Like all of them tapped just now.
They are going to get the halftime advantage, though, in favor of Heavy Impact. But they're going to have to deal with that top Bruiser camp. They don't want any more pressure onto the structures of their map. You know, you're already down your top keep. It's best not to lose. Top port, my apologies. You don't want to lose any more structural damage if possible. The toss is going to be coming out onto Murden. Attempted stun from the Mortal is not going to succeed. Tremor does not have taunt for another 3 seconds. And here we go. Infra is going to be walking up, trying to do as much damage to the loose as possible. A good gravitational... What's it called? What's the thing even called again?
Are you talking about...
The Zarya thing. I think I'm calling it the wrong.
Expulsion.
Oh, sorry. Expulsion Zone. My apologies. Yes, that's what it's called.
Gravitation is the other role.
Yeah. I totally forgot. I was like, damn, I'm definitely not saying this right.
It's like they kind of look the same, but different color.
Yeah, very, very different color, very vibrant.
Again, both teams are just trying to position themselves for the upcoming team fight that is about to ensure.
Yeah, Gotfield is not there yet. He does have option to fly back into the team fight, and the Gus is up, but no Ardent Defender from Yrel. Let's see what's going to happen here. Right now, Zergling's at 100 energy. He's going to be melting with those auto attacks. Gotfield onto the flank, doing quite a bit of damage to the Vala. It's going to force the Gust because he is in a bad spot. But good Gust means that Tremor, Wary Day, and Infrared are all in a very awkward spot, but they don't have the damage to kill it. No, they don't. A good combo from Kelso is going to chunk Infrared, but due to bites without the Ardent Defender is barely going to go down. A beautiful Kobe coming in from Zarya. It's going to be a 1-for-0, their first kill of the game, and they're going to get an objective for the reward.
Yeah, definitely. Like, just in time too, because level 16 was just around the corner for Anti-Clown Association. Meaning that they get the objective while not being forced to face a talent disadvantage.
I mean, they are still down 16, don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah,
right?
for sure. But this is a relatively healthy Immortal, so even if they don't, like, walk down with it, they're at least guaranteed to get a front gate.
And here we go, the march to the top keep begins. We have about 2/3 of a shield onto the Mortal, slowly getting chunked away from Kelsier. And here comes the forced fight onto Zergling, absolutely getting shredded by Kelsier. A beautiful magic missile is going to lock him down. But Valamar is going to get zoned away. But the reset is here. It's a 4v4, but right now, Anti-Clone does not have a healer, but they have a Li Ming who's about to go monstrosity. No, the Pandas come in and lock down the mage herself. And this is a 3v3 situation on the back foot. Our Anti-Clown, they still have to deal with this very healthy Immortal. They're bound to lose this top keep if they don't make a play fast. They'll make a play soon, and looks like they are going to forfeit it. You know, you have Gotfield really hammering away, but is that enough? It looks like, yeah, it's going to be very close.
They could still snipe it, even if the Immortal goes down first.
The Immortal is going to go down, but yeah, Mason Blaze is going to jump in and take it down. It's going to be the Sacrificial Lamb. Yes, it's going to go down. It's a Sacrificial Panda, an offering to the Immortals for such a bountiful harvest.
Honestly, that was worth it.
It was worth it. Yeah, they have now the top catapult pressure, which is going to help them a lot when it comes to dealing with that top bruiser camp. Getting those additional minions to assist with the push is going to be very good. But now they're down 10. Now they're probably going to forfeit away once again their bottom bruisers.
They should forfeit this. Yeah, Vala is bot. They're forfeiting this.
Yeah, they're definitely going to get this away, which is, of course, very typical without being there a 5v5 situation. And the attempt is once again onto the 3v5. Gotfield is going to fly in, and now they just realize that Vala is not here. A gust to disengage.
Gust.
Yeah, I don't like that gust. That was a very odd gust.
All the gusts this game has been quite interesting.
like you don't have Garrosh Ultimate, you don't have the Chen Heroic, you don't have the Zarya R. Like there's basically no reason for you to gust it. It's because there's no way for you to die. So I found that to be a very odd gust. Now it's on another 40-second cooldown. I mean, I think that Heavy Impact knows, and they want to kind of push with this, knowing that there isn't a very monumental heroic on the side of Anti-Clown. Gutfeld's in a more of a flanking position, but let's see what's going to do. So they're going to take quite a bit of damage. It's going to be healed back up. The good high five onto Duda Bites is going to walk out with just barely 100 HP. Ardent Defender wasn't even up, so Duda Bites was very lucky to get to live there. But the toss is once again onto Caesar, this time without the support of his team. Without Avatar, gets instantly grinded up in the meat grinder.
Level 16 is super important because there was a damage issue for Heavy Impact before 16, but now we have criticized from Brightwing, lowering the armor of Anti-Clown Association's heroes by 25 armor, meaning that it will just be much easier to melt those heroes away.
Yeah, so it looks like Kelsier is going to be trying to do a little bit damage to the objective as possible. You know, any chip damage onto objective is good. It means that you don't have to deal with it later. Duda is also doing the best, but looks like they want to fight here. Heavy Impact getting speeded up by Zarya. Tremor's going to try to get a good toss in, but without the necessary support, they were not able to get anything. You see Vala and the Chen is working onto the top Immortal.
Falstead used Gust just now against the Vala.
That's not very good.
Yeah, that is not very good.
So they're going to give away this objective for free.
Most likely. But we do see imposing presence from the Murden, meaning that his entire build is essentially an anti-Vala build. Where, like, anytime Vala tries to auto-attack him, her attack speed will be slowed one way or another. So that's something to keep a note of. So, despite having more damage now for Heavy Impact, their damage is also reduced, so that's something to keep in mind.
And that is indeed correct. And just a shout out to El Taquito with the raid of 8 party members. I hope you're enjoying the show. You know, Heavy Impact down 2-0, but they're looking good so far this game. You know, it was a little bit shaky, but now they're marching a comeback with a very healthy Immortal. But without 20s, this is going to be very rough. They also have a top boost that they're going to deal with. And here we go, the Enforce Engage down to Murda is going to force out the high five plus the Avatar. The taunt is not going to do too much. And here comes Gotfield with the Gust. Tremor is the focus here, but it's going to be able to walk out thanks to the Zarya shield. And now Duda Bites is stuck to the expulsion zone. The boss is still the Immortal is still hammering away on the bottom keep. And all 5 members are healthy on both teams, and this is where the real fight will truly begin. No Ardent Defender, no Avatar, no Gust. This is looking very bad. The toss is once again onto Caesar Salad. Here we go. Are we going to see the polymorph? No, just a toss, just to jump away. The Immortal is down, and no structures on the side of Anti-Clone Association is present. You're going to see the Firestorm and Earth, or whatever the heck that panda name is called. Caesar Salad's going to jump again once again. The panda's taking quite a bit of damage, but once again, as long as one of the pandas left, you're in a good spot. And yes, it looks like they're able to disengage. Gus is up in 5 seconds, and if he chooses to fly in and Gus, this could be
Lucio,
really...
What are you doing?
But Lucio walking straight into Garrosh's loving arms. He's going to go down, and the Gus is here to try to do a lot of damage. A good Q from Gotfield, and Vala goes down with the combo of Li Ming, but Urel's life is exchanged as well. Kelsier is sub 400 HP. Tremor is going to ignore the Li Ming, going to go for Gotfield, and Caesar Salad instead. It's going to see the fly away from Falstad, ditching away the poor dwarf who was here to suffer a very sad demise.
Wow. What just happened?
It was a very good attempt. I think Anti-Clown had a very good idea. You know, you saw the Falstaff flank, you saw the blow-up combo onto the Vala, but Urel going down was very catastrophic. So here we go. Are we going to see the march onto the core begin? You know, you don't have your Vala. This is kind of odd. You don't have your main DPS. Sure, you have Zarya, who can take a lot of hits from the core, but without another sustainable damage dealer, you're not going to be able to melt this core. It looks like the team of Heavy Impact realizes, and this might be too late to back away. Gotfield with the attempted Gust is not going to go down thanks to Lucio. But look who's in the back line. Kelsier actually a huge blunder going straight in. And now you're without the Murden, you're without the Li Ming, and now the 4th Immortal of the game is here. What are you going to do, Anti-Clown? You're in a very poor spot. The toss onto Urel. Ardent Defender is available should due to bides needed for this situation. It's going to walk out though, and they're going to once again forfeit another objective without their Li Ming. They cannot fight. Yeah.
They can't forfeit it, because if they forfeit it, they lose the game. Simple as that. There's no keeps left, and this is a 22-minute objective.
Well, without their Li Ming, what hopes do they have to win a team fight? They really do need a miracle, and they're on the wrong side of the map.
No.
This is not good. The stun is on to Weary Day, but just instantly melted is the Gyrosh and Chen combo. I mean, Lucio really cannot get out in that situation, even though the high five was available. And we have a full shield immortal. We have an open core with no structures in sight. It's safe to say, Malios, this is probably a game.
That's game. The immortal by itself can probably end the game.
I mean, you see an attempt here by Anti-Clown, but at this time, it's just more of a formality. There's really no way they get out of this situation. They have to basically team wipe this. But Mason Blaze on the Panda 1v3. This is some Panda shenanigans we were ready to see. And the quirky pick is serving them well. All there's left standing between the game and the 2-1 victory is just Kelsier. What can Kelsier do? He's really got to pull a rabbit out of her hat.
Yeah. Heavy Impact needs to start like running down the middle towers.
But yeah, in the very and we're gonna see game number 3 go in favor of Heavy Impact. GG and well played.